Hey guys, Andy here, and I'm here to bring you all things mundane and makeup related. If that's your vibe, I'd love it if you would subscribe to be part of my little slice of the internet. And in today's video, we are going to be doing the rainbow or colorful palettes with a pop of neutral. Now, you've already seen the neutral palettes with a pop of color, so of course I had to do the other version of this. And I actually have slightly more, which makes sense because I prefer colorful palettes. So if you want to see all 16 palettes, let's go ahead and get on into it. So in ranking these, I started with, so the top palettes are palettes that I've used. The bottom palettes are obviously palettes I've never used, but I'm ranking them more on, from the swatches, how I feel about the quality of the swatch, and then the color story. So I've only used the first 6 palettes. So from 16 to 6, well, 16 to 7, I haven't used them, just so we're on the same page. But let's start with number 16. We have the Amuse Beauty Into the Jungle palette. Now, it doesn't have a scent really anymore, but when I first got this, it smelled like lime margaritas, and it made me want to throw up, and I hated the scent of it. It was garbage. I have a history with lime margaritas, and I can't do it now. I mean, I don't drink now because of the medications I'm on, but when I did drink, I will say, obviously, we have like 2 matte browns here. Is this a neutral? I mean, yeah. It's like a black. Because I'm really only going to be swatching the neutrals for you. But there we go. We got some neutralies. The mattes seem buildable. They're a little more on the sheer side, but they don't seem too terribly bad. I didn't get a makeup wipe out before, and now it's coming out to bite me. Get back in there. But the shimmers, and there are no neutral shimmers in here, so we're just going to pick one to swatch for you. I don't know if you guys can see, but some of them are marbled. And these shimmers are just, they're pretty and they're metallic, but they're thick and they're chunky. So I just overall don't really love this palette. I don't think the color story is bad. The formula leaves at least something to be desired. So there is that. In spot number 15, we have the Milani Gilded Flora palette. So the color story on this is beautiful. It is such a light spring color story. As you can see, we have our couple pops of browns. It's very light. It's light in pigment. And, well, that brown isn't, which is nice. But there's a lot of kick up, which I know not everyone cares, and I don't normally care about, but, like, there's a lot. And you just have to really build it up, like, especially the colorful shades, which I know we're not really here to talk about. We're here to talk about the neutrals and the pops of color. But it's just, and the shimmers, though they're pretty, they're also a little bit on the chunkier, like, they have sparkle in them. But it's just, they're thicker. And it's not a formula I'm in love with. Color story, 87 out of 10. I think the color story is absolutely gorgeous on this. It's just, this is not a formula I'm in love with. And now I have Rogue sparkles all over me already. We love that. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum. So now in spot number 14, because I have a lot of Nomad in here, we have the Hudson Valley palette because we got some neutral, like, brownie shades, but this gray row is really what I was going for when I was thinking neutrals. Which I do like Nomad's formula, at least a little bit that I've tried of it. But this color story is... Do you still have a sticky on the mirror? Oh. How dare you? So sorry. But this color story is wholesale my vibe. Like, I love this color story. But I wish there was another row of shimmers. Like... 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I wish this was an 18 pan palette with one more row of shimmers. Because I'm just not in love with mostly matte palettes, but I love the color story of this palette. I love the vibe of it. I think that it seems really nice. And then also, here's my thing. So we have a green shimmer to go with this green row, a red to go with the reds, and then an orange to go with this orange row. What are you supposed to do with this gray row? There's not a gray shimmer. What is this here for? Explain to me. And maybe that's just me being picky, but that's how I feel about it. In spot number 13, we have from Melt. This was their Bad Sign Zodiac palette, and this is the water signs. So Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, which... Ian is a Cancer. So this is what it looks like. Obviously, we have our couple pops of neutrals, which let's just swatch these. These feel really nice. Like, I have all 4 of these, and I think they seem nice. I haven't tried them on the eyes. But it's a pretty color story. I like the tealy blues. I love the puns. I love the names. So, like, we have Trust Issues, Emo, Ugly Crying, Dead Inside. I love it. I love this collection for what it is. I just don't love this as much as other things on the list. Like, for all these palettes that I haven't used, I really just had to rank them for petty little reasons. And just the color story on that one, it just doesn't rank as high as some of the other ones. It's really all it is. In spot number 12, we have the Nomad Verona Amore Immorte, whatever. I hate that this opens in the middle and we have 2 mirrors. Hate it. I understand it's so you can use the 2 9 pans separately. So we have the red side, which we're not even talking about because that's not the pop of neutrals. This side is the pop of neutrals because we have the grays and the black because that is neutral. Let's see this black. How good of a black is it? Well, it's a pretty nice black shade. Proud of you. I just hate how it opens. Pisses me off. I do... So this side, the side that like we're talking about with the pop of neutral, has a variety in its color story, and I do like that. But if we're talking about the palette as a whole, I wish this red side had more variety to it, personally. But that's a really nice black, and I'm very excited about that because there are a lot of palettes that have a black that's really just a gray in disguise. Let's be real on that. So that was a nice black. Then in spot number 11, I think this is my last Nomad palette on the list. This is the Tokyo palette, which looks like this. So we have 2 grays here, which again, in this kind of color story, what are we doing with these 2 grays? I don't understand. The pastels are adorable. The little kitty face imprints are adorable. These bottom row of shimmers, gorgeous in the swatch. Like, let me just swatch this one. Like, it's such a different shimmer formula than any other of Nomad's formulas. But they put these neutrals, these grays, in a lot of their palettes, but, like, have nothing else to do with them, and I don't understand why. Like, explain to me, what am I doing with those grays? Like, are they there to ground out a look? But, like, how? I don't... Am I dumb? Tell me if I'm dumb. And then, in spot number 10, We have, I think this is, no, there's one more Natasha Denona. This is the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. And this looks like this. So really it's just this little bit over here, because this is very rosy. So let's swatch Morning, and which looks so much more yellow and bronze in the swatch. But I will say, I love the color story of this. I love my Natasha Denona palettes, and I know it's not a neutral, but this shade, Carnelian, is one of my favorite shades in my entire Natasha Denona palette collection. So, there's that. In spot number 9, because now we're getting into some big palettes. This is from Cara Beauty. It's their Cara Duo. So this is one of their Pro palettes. It's the Pro 14 Time Traveler palette, which looks like this. It is a big, big boy. So we've got, basically this whole bottom row is neutrals, and then we've got a couple neutrals up here. I love Cara Beauty's formula. Granted, I've never purchased directly from Cara Beauty. Every palette I've gotten from TJ Maxx, Marshalls, but like, I really love their formula. I think it's really nice. They have buildable mattes, they have intense shimmers. This color story is gorgeous. If I don't use this fall, what am I doing with my life? Like, let's swatch. Let's do this brown. Let's do this shade. Like, those are stunning. I got a little bit of a kick up there. And then let's just do this shimmer. Like, gorgeous. Love to see it. So, this palette has a pressed glitter. Not all of their palettes have pressed glitters. I like pressed glitters personally. I know not everybody's a fan of that, but love this palette. It is gorgeous, and I can't wait to try it on the face. This is my last of these wipes. They went by so quickly. They were not very good. These are the Mask Lab wipes. Would not buy this pack again. Was not very good. This is my last one. Already. Just got these. Like, a month ago. I think I did get them in June. Well, that'd be 2 months ago, but I didn't do makeup in June. So it might as well have been a month ago. But in spot number 8, we have the Glamlight Michaela palette. So this is the first one. Now, I will tell you, I don't like Michaela. I have her blocked on all social media because I find her so goddamn annoying. I followed her before she got super big because I liked her. I thought she was genuine, and then she sold out, and I don't like her. But I found this at TJ Maxx, and I do think the color story is gorgeous. And if I could find pot 2 at TJ Maxx or Marshalls, I would get that one too, because I think the color story on that one is really pretty as well. But obviously, this whole first row is neutrals. So let's do a light and a dark. You can't even really see this first shade on me. It is very cool toned, which I like. And then let's do the shimmer in this row. And it's beautiful. I really do like the color story. I think it's very pretty, which is why I picked it up. I like Glamlight's formula. I think that their shimmers are so stunning and gorgeous and sparkly. Yeah, so that's all we're going to talk about on that palette. So in spot number 7, our last and only other Natasha Denona palette, this is the Jubilee palette, which is another BoxyCharm one that we got. So this was a really good Natasha Denona formula. Obviously, we have our one matte here, which is Vintage Taupe, which I have, I think, twice over, or 3 times over. Oh, I don't like that that's falling out. Don't like that. Alright, well, we're going to hold that a little bit better, but vintage taupe I have like 2 or 3 times over. But the color story can be tricky to come up with looks, in my opinion, because, like, that is a beautiful look. But then you have the pink and the taupe, and I just... But the taupe is nice, even though I don't like taupes. It is a really good formula, in my opinion. In spot number 6, this is the last palette that I haven't used. And this is the Huda Beauty Wild Python. There we go. Get it on the camera there. So it looks like this. So this is really the only true neutral. It looks like that's kind of leaning orangey. But Huda's formula is just so silky. No, I mean, that is a brown. So silky, so buttery smooth. Here, let's try the shimmer. No, that's got like a green duochrome to it. But her shimmers are sparkly. It's a fun color story. She does textures just beautifully. And I need to try this palette ASAP. In spot number 5, so now from here on, 1, 2, 3, 4, these, we are good. Oh, I'm missing a palette. I was like, where? It's the palette I used today that I already put away. So in spot number 5, we have the Blend Bunny Sugar and Grunge palette, which looks like this. So as you see, we have this row here of neutrals. Obviously not that shimmer, but the neutral shimmer is still pink. So this has a silky matte formula that really does just blend effortlessly. Like, see, is that black? I mean, it's not really a black. And here we even have some more grays. But like, they're more of dark grays than trying to be blacks. But the shimmers are gorgeous. I have only used this palette once, but I have used it, and I really did enjoy the formula on this. I'm really sad that I don't think you can get this palette anymore because of the whole cease and desist over the word grunge, and it was so stupid. But I'm glad I have it. It's a beautiful palette, and it's here to stay. In spot number 4, the palette that I have on my eyes today, this is the Pat McGrath Celestial Nirvana Mega Mothership palette. So we have just a couple neutrals, a couple neutral shimmers. It's overhyped, to be honest. I even overhyped it up when I got it because it was the only Pat McGrath palette I had. The shimmers are very nice. So let me swatch for you some shimmers. The shimmers are really pretty. The mattes, I will say, what I have on my eyes today performed better than I remember these mattes performing, because I remember these mattes being super hard pressed and, see, they don't swatch very far, but super hard pressed, super patchy on the eyes. Like, this dark red shade is absolute garbage. I remember this teal and this purple being really hard to work with. But in today's look, I used this red, I used the pink, and I used the navy blue for mattes. And they turned out really well. I actually really enjoyed how this look came together. So take that with what you will. And the last 3 palettes, I'm sorry, but they're all Jeffree Star palettes because I really do love his formula. And you can fight me on that, and if you don't want to hear any more about it, I understand. In spot number 3, we have Jeffree Star Mini Controversy. As you can see, we've got neutrals right here. I just find this color story as a whole a little disjointed and hard to work with. Like, these blues, granted, one is a matte, one is a shimmer, satiny shade. They're practically the same shade, and I just don't understand why they're there. I don't feel like these purples really go together. Like, you really do have a quad right here. So, I don't know. It's just, Jeffree's formula, I do find, is really nice. and I know a lot of people don't like that, but I really do like his formula. And so out of the 3 with pops of neutral, this is going to be number 3, but I still love it. In spot number 2, we have my current Do Japan My Battleship palette, and this is the Blue Blood palette, which, as you can see, we have pops of neutral, which I need to do a neutral look with this palette because I haven't. But there is the neutral look. But this palette is slightly older in my collection, and I can really tell just in how the shades are performing. But I still love the color story. Even after using this whole year in the Do Japan My Battleship Project Pan, I really do still love this palette. I wouldn't say that the shadows are expired, but I can tell that, like, they're on their way out. Like, they're starting to decline. And in spot number 1, because it is not only my favorite Jeffree Star palette, but one of my favorite green palettes in general, this is the Blood Money palette. This is what she looks like. So we have just a couple browns in here. So we got a brown, and like, this is kind of a greeny gold. Brown, greeny gold. So, but this is my favorite Jeffree Star palette. In my opinion, this is one of his best quality palettes. It's just perfection. It's my favorite color story. It's my favorite Jeffree Star palette. It's my favorite green palette in my collection. This is just utter perfection. I love the packaging. I love absolutely everything about this palette. So it had to be my number 1. So that's going to be everything for my more colorful palettes with a pop of neutral. Let me know, which video did you prefer? The neutrals with a pop of color or the colorful palettes with a pop of neutral? I'd love to know. I very much preferred this video because I prefer colorful palettes, but it was really interesting to see both variations. I appreciate you guys watching the video, and I will absolutely see you in the next one. Bye, guys.